Hello everyone, this is Zooc and today I'm bringing you a new logo/illustration video. This one is going to be for a new JP show called Fandom. As you probably know by now, if you've been following my channel, I've done a redonkulous amount of these for him. This being the latest one, he wanted something cool looking. The concept was kind of abstract in itself because fandom is basically the action of people being fans of something. So it doesn't really have a visual representation. So we just said, go with some word art, make it look cool, and that'll be that. So basically complete creative freedom, ultimate flexibility, which is nice. I looked at some graffiti styles of text for this kind of design because I actually have no reason for it. It just felt right, I guess. So made it look somewhat like graffiti, and then started hand painting it because I wanted to make it a bit more organic looking. The thing is, I spent about 2 hours on the first draft. The first draft, I would say, was the final concept. He said it was okay, but I wasn't happy with it, so I basically scrapped the entire thing and did it from the beginning. I've been trying to get back into practice with the tablet. I have this idea that I'm gonna put aside at least an hour every day to practice. That's kind of how you're supposed to do it if you want to get good. But it's always something comes along and like ruins my plans. Like I have to cook, or I have to clean, or I just don't feel like it, or it's too hot, or it's too cold. So it's just bullshit excuses, and better said. So that needs to stop, and I need to get back into a decent rhythm and have some discipline. But discipline is the biggest problem, of course, that I've been facing my entire life, and it doesn't seem to get any better. I keep reading these self-help books like Eat That Frog, and there are a bunch of others on how to find balance and rhythm and discipline, and it all sounds good, but then again you use kind of different brain areas when you're reading or observing something as opposed to actually doing it. So when it comes down to doing and applying it, I still suck badly at it. So it's something that needs to fix itself. So anyway, about this design, I wouldn't say there's that much to talk about. My inspiration was like kind of a WoW-ish Hearthstone card back kind of design. Those are really cool because they're not very complex designs. Like if you zoom in, they're actually quite sloppy. But from a distance, they look really well. And I've been trying for quite a long time now to emulate that kind of style and get to a point where my stuff looks like Blizzard artist stuff, which is more difficult than it seems. Like I look a lot on DeviantArt, and I see people trying to emulate that style as well. And even though some are significantly better than me, it still doesn't look the same. It's like they've all been put into this one school of thought or design, and they all come out making stuff that looks exactly the same and just as cool. So yeah, I'm struggling with that a bit, but I really want to end up mastering this style because it's very versatile and you can make a lot of colorful, nice looking things that don't take ages to make. Because some illustrators, if you look on YouTube at other people doing digital art, they make some really cool stuff, but it's incredibly complex. Like they take it line for line, and it takes like 100 hours to make something that looks good. Well, this sort of stuff, I imagine it wouldn't take more than 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours. Some of the more complex stuff, like the things they have for wallpapers and big posters, those probably take a couple of days at least. But most of the stuff they have out there is not that overly complex. So in the end, the second version was, I think, much more successful than the first one. The first one, as always, I managed to fuck up the colors and the contrast, and it looks too much of one thing, too shiny or too dark or to this or to that. Well, this one was kind of more balanced out, I'd say. So he was quite happy with it. Gave it a 3D effect by hand because I didn't feel like rebuilding it in Illustrator and doing that whole bullshit with it. Figured it's probably for the best to just do the entire thing by hand and give it a more organic feel. And that concludes that. Now let's talk about real life and the fun stuff. So recently I had an incident, I would say, on Facebook. The backstory to that is my girlfriend's grandmother is this really, really pushy person who insists on being that very typical grandmother figure that bakes a lot and brings goodies to people and does this and that. And ever since I moved to Prague, she's been coming over all the time, bringing whatever the hell she decides to bake. The problem is that she is a terrible baker, among other things. And she doesn't take no for an answer. Like the most recent example was we were on a diet, me and my girlfriend, and grandma calls and says, I'm going to bring you some apple pie. And we go like, no, we don't want that. We're on a diet. We don't want it. Like, don't. Like, she gets dressed, gets on a bus. She's old. Gets on a bus, comes over here. We have to get dressed, go downstairs, meet her in the bus station, all for a piece of pie. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Fuck the damn pie. So we said, no, we're on a diet. It's fine. Just stay home. Like, mind your old person stuff that you're doing there. She's like, no. Okay, then I won't put any sugar in it. Like, that's your solution, grandma, honestly, of all the things you could think of. Instead of saying, okay, fine, you're right. You go, I'm not going to put any sugar in it. What kind of shitty pie is that going to be without sugar then? Like, you're bringing us a terrible pie, and what's the point? So she was supposed to come one day later, and she texts in the morning that, oh, I can't come today, CBA. Yeah. So we're like, yes, okay, we don't have to deal with this bullshit. Then towards the evening, she texts my girlfriend, I'm on the bus, come meet me. Out of nowhere, like no calls, no nothing. Just, I'm on the bus, come meet me. No discussion. Like, we could have been out somewhere, or we could have been doing something else. Like, yeah, come meet me now, I'm on the bus. Like, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do life. You don't just fucking show up. Previously to that, it was like 9 p.m. This is another adventure. We were watching a movie before bed, ready to like end the day. And she's like, come meet me, I'm outside, I have some cakes for you. What? It's almost 10. Leave us alone. No, come out, I have cakes. And we had to get dressed, to go downstairs, meet her in the bus station, get the fucking cakes, which are all terrible. Like, I wouldn't have a problem if it was all amazing and yeah. But she's a bad baker. She does this experimenting shit that never works out. And then she insists on everyone else eating her stuff. I hate that. I'm sorry, but like I don't find it cute or I don't find it funny. I just find it insensitive. You're forcing other people to go with you and do what you want because you're just a pig-headed person. So I posted about it on Facebook, and I had a slew of comments that were like jumping to conclusions straight away, like, oh, you're just ungrateful. How can you be so ungrateful for like an old lady doing this for you? Like, you should be thankful. I'm sorry, but why is the fact that she's old a factor in this? Like, you assume you're talking to a person that still is within all her mental faculties, like she's not escaped out of an asylum, right? So you think you can reason with her when you tell her, we don't want this. It wasn't like, oh, you shouldn't have. It was like, we don't want you to do this for us right now. Like, you really shouldn't. She's like, no, I'm going to do it. So I'm sorry, but that's just being like pushy and obnoxious. It's not about me being unthankful or anything like that, I think. Like, that's just my opinion. I wouldn't do that to someone. If they said, no, we stay at home, we don't want this, I'd be like, okay, fine, backing off. It's all cool, no probs. So yeah, this was going on Facebook. And then my girlfriend replied to some comments that people were like, what if someone actually said, what if your girlfriend sees this? She might get really offended. It's like, you do realize that she knows what I post and can read it instantly. Like, I'm not hiding from anyone with this shit. So eventually I deleted the whole thread. But I just found it interesting that the situation turned out like this because my girlfriend is not... She doesn't know how people are on the internet. Like, I've been publicly exposed, I guess, for 5 years now almost. So I know how people get when you post something like this. Some people are going to understand. They're going to take your side and be like, okay, yeah, that's annoying. I get it. But other people are just going to come along and like shit all over the comment section with stuff like, oh, why are you so ungrateful? And, you're a bastard and you should be thankful that someone wants to give you this delicious food. After I said that she's a bad baker and her stuff is terrible. Yeah, delicious food. That you really read that carefully, that paragraph of text. So, yeah, one of those little things that seems to happen to me every time I talk about personal matters in writing. In videos, it doesn't really happen that much. In videos, I have a way of putting it out that leaves very little room for interpretation, but somehow it's terrible. So I had to delete the thread because I was scared that some relative of my girlfriend is going to see it and maybe she speaks English and she's going to like rat me out to grandma and then she's going to disown her or something like that. crazy family, this one. So yeah, that was interesting. Other than that, there hasn't really been anything adventurous happening in my life. I've been going to the gym and been on a diet and all that, and feeling massively guilt-tripped that I haven't been able to make more videos because it's something that I really want to. I have a feeling that it would make me happy to get back into the rhythm that I had before, but times are busy, you know. It's not always feasible. Plus, a lot of times I just feel like sitting here and watching shows and playing StarCraft or something. I feel like I'm going to work and I'm coming home and I don't want to do anything anymore. But it's like I don't go anywhere. I sit here literally for an entire day and do the same thing, and then I feel like, oh, I'm so tired now. I should go relax and play some StarCraft. Well, I've been doing that for like 6 hours. It's fucking terrible how the brain works. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this one. I'm going to start filming my practice sessions, so at least I have some content to put out if I'm not doing like Dota characters or anything famous. I'm going to actually start designing my own creatures, because fuck drawing Dota stuff all the time. So hopefully that'll be nice. Anyway, please rate that shit if you enjoyed it. Go buy a t-shirt, for fuck's sake. Please buy a Weasel t-shirt. I worked my ass off for that t-shirt. Go buy one. It's cool. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.